ladies and gentlemen, we're just back from RTX.
Yes, we are.
Austin, Texas.
Yes, we are.
And we had a blast. And we want to tell you a little bit about
Yes,
our
we did.
experience
I want to
there.
hear about it.
Yeah, me too.
Thick and I were not there.
You fuckers missed out.
I hate that we missed out.
We
I had a
weren't
family
sure what
event.
to expect.
I know. But we had no idea. And holy shit.
Sometimes we go to places and we only send one person because, you know, it takes us away from videos. And
That's usually a capture event.
I think it's worth going back.
I would agree, without a doubt.
Yeah, so what was the size? What would you say the
It
size
was,
of the people?
it was smaller than some of the events we've been to. It was slightly smaller than PAX East, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
When we
was-
went a few years ago.
It was a good bit smaller, I think.
I would
Yeah.
say it was a little
quarter
bit
of it,
more than
maybe.
half. No, half.
Okay.
were
But
you guys at the same event?
yeah, I think so.
But, like, Gamescom was ridiculous.
Gamescom had like 6 different buildings with all this shit.
Yeah.
And this was one of those buildings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably.
What was nice is the spread of people. Like it was never congested anywhere. There was you
that's
didn't
good.
feel claustrophobic in any way.
Comic-Con.
Yeah,
Like it
nothing
was so
like
tight
that.
in there.
I didn't smell a funk in the air.
I smelt maybe 2 or 3.
Little, I mean, you know, there wasn't a general funk.
Yeah.
A pussy fart here and there, I'm sure.
But seriously, when it comes down to this shit, honestly, we went to Comic-Con. We probably ran into like, it was like 30 or 40 people sprinkled throughout the day, right? That maybe were like, hey, how you doing? We've seen some stuff. It wasn't that many.
And that was
Right.
So-
Neebs
not at all.
Gaming,
So
right?
we had like 6, it was pre-Neebs Gaming.
Yeah,
course
that's what
it
we
was.
were
But it was
just
other
doing
stuff
Duralis.
Pre-Battlefield
Because
Friends,
we haven't
pre-everything.
We haven't done anything Neebs Gaming really.
No, well, this is the first event we've gone to that's been like an animation, gaming kind of, I don't know, community
Orgy.
thing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things we've been going to were just gaming events.
And we had a booth. And the last time we had a booth was Comic-Con like many years
And it
ago.
wasn't even our
before
booth.
this.
Yeah, that
it
wasn't-
wasn't
yeah.
even our booth.
They just let us
But-
sit at it.
Exactly. So that's the whole point of this.
So
We
this
had-
was the first booth we
right.
ever had.
We had a booth. Neebs Gaming was on it, and it was a great booth.
And did you guys hear? I don't know if we told you. We won best booth,
Yeah.
RTX 2017.
Actually, I did see that.
Yeah.
Our friends from Hizzy actually posted that on Twitter.
yeah.
It looked like a nice booth. I like the lemon.
Never heard of Hizzy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's because you call them the wrong fucking
heard of
No,
name.
He-She.
it's he-she.
He-she.
It
I
is
already
not
talked to
he-she.
Daniel,
No.
and I told him, I explained it to him. We were drinking beers together, and he agreed. He's been saying it wrong the whole time, and he says it's he-she.
Oh, that's right. You
No,
got
he
to
told
meet
me he
Daniel,
saw
huh?
you talking to a wooden Indian statue
No,
about that. and
no.
the
Well, it-
Indian statue agreed.
Making
Well,
love
he
to
looks
it.
like an Indian statue. But I mean, it was a total of maybe like 16 hours in 2 days that there was just people.
We met new people from our community constantly.
The second
mean,
we
it
got
There wasn't
there,
one moment where we weren't meeting somewhere new.
When we were at the booth, there was always somebody there, and there was always a line. It was crazy.
yeah,
It's crazy.
it really
So
was.
I don't think there's another way we could have met so many people from the community in such a short amount of time.
Humbling,
It was
warmed your
awesome.
heart.
That's why we need to do something like this once a year, always, because it's like that fail-safe community event
That,
Yeah.
that someone else planned.
that someone else planned, and we just get to sit there, and then we go out and hang out.
So we're going to try to make RTX an annual thing.
I think we should try next
Yeah.
I
year.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And RTX seemed happy.
And a lot of people missed you. They were very disappointed. I don't think anyone missed Thick.
No one would.
But a lot of people did say Abstro. Did you guys hear anyone say something about Thick?
Probably not.
I heard a
couldn't.
couple, yeah.
Okay, so there were a couple.
You
we
sure
didn't-
they weren't saying something else like, "Hey, look at that chick," and you were like,
they could've
"Hey,
run-
I miss
yeah.
Thick."
No,
See?
no. We introduced Anthony as Thick for a little while, and that seemed to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Anthony was
They're like, he
with you.
seems a little tall. Okay.
Yeah.
Anthony's shorter than me.
I know. But it's
Why
funny.
would you say that?
It's
Yeah.
because of
I was-
jokes.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced.
So, where do we begin? Day one?
Yeah,
Sure.
you guys flew in.
You know what? Might as well start with just get out of the way. The room,
The Airbnb?
the Airbnb. We had
My first Airbnb ever.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Congrats.
Anyone?
Great.
Anyone else?
We didn't know.
No,
There's-
I've
first-
done an Airbnb.
I've never done one.
apparently Austin has 2 significant streets of the bar's party scene. 6th Street seems to be the crazy balls out kind of street,
So
and then
6th
apparently
Street?
Rainy Street
Rainy Street.
is like the more hipstery, very kind of. I don't know. I just
Trendy.
assume it
Lots
sounds a
of-
little bit more trendy. But our Airbnb was on Rainy Street.
right next to it. We could just leave the bar, walk right into our building.
Yeah.
Which was
Nice.
a secured building, had like the security code out front, an elevator. I mean, this was a swanky place.
It was
man.
very
Wow.
nice.
But there was 3 of us staying in the one room.
And
or
3
the
sleeping
apartment,
options.
Which, yeah.
I think the
Dallas
plan was on-
misled Simon on one of those beds.
Oh God, it was awful.
So there was a bedroom with a nice bed. There was the fold-down little couch thingy.
Which I slept on.
And then there was a cot that was, when you walked through the bathroom, we had that set up in the back closet.
which was a big ass closet.
Huge
then
closet.
And
It's
the
like a
cot,
room.
The cot was sitting in there, and we're like, holy shit, Anthony could have stayed here. Because originally we are going to have two people in the king bed, one person on the futon, and then Anthony on the rollaway or something like that.
Yeah.
And then, but he snores a lot. So we're like, no, that's not going to happen. But we could have shut him in the closet.
So my idea was like, whoever gets the couch, it's like that middle ground. Sleep there both nights. The bedroom and the cot just swap on the 2 different nights. I slept on the cot the first night, and I slept wonderfully in the back in the closet. Simon was in the bedroom, and then we swapped the next night.
Yeah, because the king bed was really nice. And I'm like, oh, that bed was good.
And I told you how good the cot was. huh?
Yeah. Oh, it's really comfortable. You'd be so surprised. It was wonderful. Like, okay. Well, this isn't going to be too shabby. He's like, yeah, like I got up to pee. He's giving me fucking details. I got up to pee at 7:30.
Laid back
and then I
down
laid
and
back
fell right
down.
back asleep.
Yeah, and it was so great.
My drunk was away, you know, the
Yeah.
alcohol. And
Yeah, and I'm
so
like,
that
And the
wasn't.
cot did
it's going to be a
that.
great event. God, it was the worst night of sleep I think I'd ever
I
had.
don't know why you didn't put the mat on the floor.
Because
Just take
he,
it off the
because
cot.
he lied to me. I said maybe
Who
I
wants
should
to sleep on a skinny spring thing?
listen to me. Listen
Just
to me.
take the mat off.
Listen.
We got to get through this quick. 'cause
Wait.
this is-
bullshit. Man.
Okay. Because I said to him, hey, maybe I'll put it on the floor because it seems small. And he goes,
No.
no, you don't want to do that. Those springs in
You
there.
know how he judges things.
I know.
He
well,
hates-
now
I
I
slept
really
like
know.
a champ.
So
seen
he,
the movies he watches and says they're
Oh
good.
God, here we go.
Just sleep on a floor.
yeah,
Here's
okay.
this argument again.
Fuck.
So that's it. It should make sense to now talk about the next day.
Yeah, let's move on to
or the
fun
night.
stuff.
Do we do the night that
Well,
night?
I want to hear about Friday. So you guys flew in and you actually went to the event Friday, yeah?
Yes,
Yeah.
we did.
We were late.
We got there. We
Our
got
booth
there at
was
like
empty
4 o'clock.
for a while.
So from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock,
It was on.
it was
We were
on.
there. There was people there
Immediately.
immediately.
And stayed there the whole time. And then we went from there. We got to meet a whole bunch of great people, and then some people were hanging out.
And we're like, yeah, we're gonna have to go get some dinner. So we had about 20 some people follow us to
Yeah,
dinner.
we had a
Right.
big group. We went
Wow.
to a place called Moonshines.
Yeah,
which
right
was
across the street
great.
from the convention center. It was really, really good.
I had chicken fried steak that was fucking amazing with like this chipotle gravy.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Wonderful mashed potatoes on the side, some freaking Jameson and some beer.
Yeah,
Yummy.
we had a good damn group there, and they all pretty much followed us to the container bar.
Man, great people.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were awesome.
as per usual.
Yeah, and a lot of them had never met in person, but
Yeah.
they're all on the streams and in
now
the
some are
chats,
dating.
and they all decided to meet and kind of stay in the same area.
Yeah,
And that
Well,
this
that's
was
awesome.
their first time meeting.
Yeah.
and the diversity in the group is wonderful as well.
There was a
then-
grandmother there. She was 68 years old.
Yeah.
I shit you not. She was 68 years
Really?
old. She was from Wisconsin. Her name was Susan Ellen. Yeah, the weird like first. Yeah, that's or is it Ellen Susan?
He
Is it
made
Susan
this.
Ellen?
This is all made
Did
up.
I?
Yeah,
meet
but
her?
I was
Sue
selling
Ellen
it.
from
You're making this
Dallas?
I was making
Why
it
would you
up.
spend
yeah.
that much time on that silly joke?
That's why I cut it off.
because
That's
I
why-
thought it was good.
I
it
would
was
have believed
working.
you after what we experienced in LA. I would have
Some-
believed you.
it's part of his acting reel.
I like to act.
Our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ showed up. He descended from heaven. He was there at our booth.
Had a
Yep.
Noobs Gaming
And he-
T-shirt on.
and he said, "I'm going to buy shots." That's what he said.
Can we get to the real story now?
Yeah.
You just talked about
We
the
went
fucking
to a
bed.
bar. The bed really happened.
Okay.
I asked the door guy at Moonshine, the restaurant we went to. I was like, so we got a group of like 20 some people. We're just looking for like a bar, something be cool for us to all chill out. He's like, yeah, there's this bar called the Container Bar. It's on Rainy Street,
Really cool bar.
right across the fucking street from our place.
Beautiful.
That worked out nice. So we
Yeah,
went
it did.
there. It was a cool bar. It was like wide open area, DJ set up with a huge screen behind him. And it was a little loud, so there was that. But it had shipping containers like stacked on top of each other. There's like a few floors of
Like
them.
the container homes you see. They made a big bar out of these
Yeah,
things.
and you can go in and that would be like your AC because it's fucking hot. So you'd have these little AC rooms to hang out in. And we pretty much owned one
Nice.
all night.
It was called Container Bar?
Container Bar. The
Container Bar.
Yeah.
On
Rainy
Rainy
Street.
Street.
Yeah.
I'll
It was
have to
neat.
go next year.
It was
Sounds
neat and it
awesome.
was slammed.
Yeah, and it was loud, like not the kind of bar that I want to hang out with. You know, I don't know. It was a
If
little
you're
bit
dancing,
loud.
man, it's the place to dance.
It
Yeah,
is, dude.
It wasn't too loud. Their volume was actually pretty perfect.
Austin's full of beautiful
It was too
people.
loud.
When you're on the dance
Holy
floor,
shit.
but
Oh,
you
yeah.
can talk
But for
normally
talking,
when you're
yeah.
away. Yeah,
Too loud for talking.
I don't think so. I thought we were okay.
Nope.
All right.
So good time there. Simon and I eventually broke away to get some food. We went to a bar just a couple up and got a couple tacos and played a little cornhole.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah,
Oh,
so that
yes.
was a 2 or 3 o'clock night, I think.
So what time did the event start the next day?
9.
9.
Okay. And were you guys allowed to get there early and set up your booth?
We
and,
decided. Yeah,
you know, put the plant
That's
there and the lemon.
hysterical.
yeah, the banner of the plant.
We didn't have a plant until the end of day 2.
Oh,
we
so
just
they brought
talked
you a
about
Okay.
Right.
I
Someone
saw the
stole
lemon,
it from
too.
the
That was
food area.
exquisite.
So we got there an hour and a half late,
All right.
right? Was somewhere at
Expected.
10:30? Was it? Or was it 11?
we pulled an Anthony.
Yeah, we figured no one would miss us too early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we went to IHOP. That was another thing about the location. Like
It was by an IHOP.
24 hours, IHOP was like 200 feet away from our
Perfect.
building too. So there was always a place if you wanted to get
So
there.
we're staying on Rainy Street from
Oh,
now
without
on.
a
Yeah.
doubt.
Great place to stay.
Awesome.
And it's very close to the convention center. So, yeah, that next
And
day.
Anthony was staying at like the Sheraton or something a few blocks north of
the
us.
Snorriton
I don't think.
because of the snoring.
I know, but
well, it kind of
I wish it was better on the ride.
It's not good. No, it doesn't really
nothing's
fit
good
in there
today.
at all. Yeah. But so we got to the convention center and hit the ground running again. And which is kind of crazy because, you know, we're doing the autographs and pictures and meeting the community, which is wonderful, up until 1:30, I guess.
Where our signing was. Now let me say, Dralis.
What?
We got to give you some lessons on signing things.
Why?
You just gotta- Did you see the stuff he was signing? Is it just me, Simon?
you mean what are you talking about?
What
You
goal
mean like
were you
his-
coming
Well,
up with?
my signature looks good. They hand you something like, here, you sign it. And my signature looks good. Simon's looks pretty good.
Duralius
You look
isn't
like
my
you wrote a grocery list or
it's not
something.
my signature.
Sideways. You would go like perfectly on the side of the card.
Oh, you're talking the placement?
placement, and
placement.
there was some sloppy letters. you
Because
know.
I don't
I
have
wanna
good
judge
fucking
this.
handwriting.
Yeah, you have bad
And he's also
handwriting.
Japanese.
That's
so he
what I'm
goes
saying. That he's
down.
making fun of that.
Why
Yeah.
would you even take the time to rip on that?
Because I want you to work on it.
I'm not going to work on my handwriting.
Yeah, you can't put new
I'm a
stripes on
grown
an old
man.
tiger.
I feel like you could.
Good God, work on your fucking spelling. How about that?
Some of these people
Ooh.
are, I didn't misspell anything.
Spell spelling.
that's
Because you were
another
writing
thing.
Neebs over and
That's
over.
another
Oh
thing.
yeah, I know.
When it comes to spelling, I was very cautious about
You
misspelling
used
someone's
3-letter
name.
words.
No, how about this? Hey, how you doing? What's your name?
Travis.
My name's no. My
Is
name.
it spelled the traditional way?
Me
I want to
love
make
you.
sure I don't
You'd-
spell it
you'd
wrong on
write
this
like-
nice piece of thing that you bought for us to sign.
You'd have them write their name, then you'd say, cheers, Neebs, cat in hat.
What do you mean have them write their name?
Witch hat. Donkey witch hat.
This is the issue, okay? When somebody says to you that their name is Ben,
Oh, God, here
But-
we fucking
but
go.
Still
Ben.
should ask.
All right?
He had this
B-
nice
how do you
like,
spell it?
cloth
Is it-
thing
yeah.
that he
Is
had
it
bought.
B-E-N? What
Now-
the fuck else would it
Probably.
be?
Listen.
I'm not going to assume it's just B-N.
you have a shitty point, and I know what your point
It
is
is a
already.
shitty-ass point.
There's Toms out there
Yeah.
with a H in it.
Right.
There could be a Ben with an H
Is
in it.
there though? Because we
Never.
know that. We know that there's times
This
with
time
an
it
H.
wasn't.
This time,
Like Simon and I, we heard a record scratch. Like, you know, we're. Did you just ask
for Ben.
B-E-N?
You guys were misspelling names
I
right
get
and
it.
left. I didn't
No,
misspell a name
not
the whole
one.
time.
No, not one.
But we did add an H to Ben.
We did
after
just
this
because
shit.
of this conversation. We both thanked Ben Ben on the card when he did it the right way. Because
Exactly.
we're having this full-on argument in front of
There,
people.
in front of
They're
everybody,
just
of
sitting
course.
here
Or
going
the
day
Ben
though.
in his
all day
mother.
long.
Did you say your name was Tim with a T as in Tim?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Well,
Tim could have a Y in it.
Could
Who
have a
knows?
Y.
Now, do you dot your I's or do you not dot your I's?
Of course they dot their I's.
I
That's
know.
not a real question.
And of course, Ben is spelled
this is like that
B-E-N.
grandma thing you brought up earlier.
God, you're so stupid.
okay, can we move on from that?
Maybe.
So at 1:30, we went to a signing from our signing
Yeah.
Right.
And I was worried that nobody was going to be there.
because
I
they were
know.
all at our booth.
Well, for one, I didn't know if anyone's going to know us at this thing. And then we were signing autographs at our booth. And I'm thinking, well, nobody's going to show up at our signing now. It's going to be
Yeah,
empty. We're
we
going to look
ruined
silly
it.
out there.
We ruined it.
Jessica
but-
Neger's going to have this long line, and we're going to be sitting there by ourselves, just sitting there.
We walk in there, we get escorted there, mind you.
Yes, we did.
Longest line there
Huge line.
at that time.
Actually, it was, at that time, dude.
Well,
the
there's
scheduling-
different signing.
Yeah.
No, there's different.
Jessica
No,
Negri has
No, but
boobs.
here's the thing.
There's
Now
no
look,
way.
we have a picture here of us in front of the line. This was probably 15 minutes after we were already signing
Yes.
stuff.
And this
because
is-
we're like, let's get a picture with this group. This is crazy.
I think our line waited there the longest, but I think everyone had the same amount of people because there was only a certain amount of tickets available
Oh.
for
yeah,
everybody.
They sell out because
but
they give
ours
you,
was longer,
They
so
give
ours
you
was-
like a,
yeah.
They give you an hour and a half
Slot.
and then they cut it. There's somebody else coming in
right
to do a
So
signing.
it was like I think it was supposed to be 100 tickets. that were given out. They
There
weren't
was-
sold.
There was more than 100 people there.
I want
was
to
a
say that too. Maybe, well, whatever. Let's say 800. Who cares?
Yeah, I think it was 800.
Somewhere
800.
between there.
So that was fun. And then when we were done with that, we went back to the booth for a signing.
And there were people there. It was amazing.
and really, no exaggeration. There was always a line.
Wow, really?
Yeah, always. And we're just waiting for people to just. Sometimes you get somebody to kind of walk over and like right amongst all the people and just look at the card, pick it up, and then just throw it down on the on the table and
not
walk
interested
away.
in-
Like we don't know who you are, but there's something going on here, obviously.
Yeah.
But everyone knew us. You know, like when we did it at Comic-Con, when we
No
had,
one knew who we were.
We had Janelle. There was a woman there
Janelle.
barking, saying, "Come over here. You might not know these guys." but-"
Barking?
So
Oh, yeah, she was a barker.
she was a barker.
And then they were
So
like, okay, I guess
Yeah,
we'll
sure.
80%,
percent,
yeah.
90% of
in
the
the
people
trash.
didn't know who we were.
But they
Right.
figured they'd get a signature
Yeah,
and a
like,
poster just because.
Why
in case
not?
they
But
find
You're
out.
there.
Everyone knew who we were.
That's all. I mean, well, it seems like the convention for that because it's
Yeah.
gaming animation.
But I was shocked.
There are animators there I would like to meet. I've been fans of their work for a
Yeah,
while.
there's a lot of good names there.
Here's what I'm super jealous because this really sounds awesome.
Oh, it gets better.
Oh, keep going then.
Well, then we had our panel.
Well, that was a little bit.
We're on Saturday, aren't
Well,
we?
that was after the signing.
Yeah.
So if
Well,
we're going
which
to go
one?
from that's the story.
This is the order, right?
You're in perfect order.
I
was
know. I don't
saying
know why we'd question that.
He seemed to
Or
Well, I
question
mean,
it.
just that's getting close to the end of the side. I mean, there's so much more that happened. Like, here's something that Simon kept doing.
Okay.
gee.
So
he's
all
got
right.
things he wants
Okay,
to
all right.
complain
Yeah.
about.
Must be another world
These are
peace
things I
thing.
want to
He's
fix.
got his phone out. It's got a list
I made
of
a list
complaints.
of things I want to fix the next time we go.
Right.
Can we fix the Ben question? Like, why
No.
would you never
we
question
need to
that?
spell the names.
It might have two ends.
correctly.
You don't know, Dorel.
course we
Tracy.
do.
That could be an I.
Of
Yeah,
course
why
it
would
could
we
be.
question
We never
Tracy?
question
Yeah.
We're talking about
Tracy.
Ben right now.
Yeah,
Fuck.
Ben.
Easy.
Every
Wait,
Ben we
there
meet
is-
now.
I bet you there's one guy out there that spells his name different as Ben.
Go ahead.
Go ahead with your
was,
list.
Yeah, rip on Simon.
What was
Well,
Simon
wait,
doing
wait,
wrong
This is
all
what
day?
Simon does.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're taking a picture. He puts his arm around your shoulder, and then he puts his head in front of your head. What is that? How does he not know? He's touching you.
I guess he doesn't
knows.
understand the eye line or the that
Yeah.
line that comes. Where's the camera?
Well, there was always layers. You know how when you go next to people, sometimes you're like shoulder to shoulder next
Right.
to people, and then there's other ways where you're layered. You need to get a whole bunch of people. So I was a lot of the time in the front next to the person who's getting a picture, and he
right.
would be behind me a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy for me to not know where he is, and I'll tilt my head a little bit to my right
All right.
because his head's here.
Like a
You know,
glamour
I can't
shot.
I'm just,
see
Yeah.
it.
I'm just poking through a hole between his ear and shoulder.
Yeah. Well,
Just
you
an
know,
eyeball in the picture.
So maybe because he's in front of you, you should adjust, eh?
Well,
Because you see exactly what's
What?
going on.
climb up on his shoulders?
no, I think
No,
that
move your
through
head 3 inches to the
It's
left.
just adding it to his complaint list while he's there. Just, we'll talk about this.
We'll fix this for next
This
year.
is lame, but what I think would throw you off is I would have my head in one position, and then right before they take the picture, I'd move it. You know, so that it was like maybe he was correctly adjusted, and then I wouldn't realize.
Yeah.
So I think that was the issue.
Every
So-
picture we took, the poses, and they were all
different.
very unique. Yeah, there was a awkward
Awkward
prom pose.
Yep, the lion pose.
A lion pose was good.
I saw a lot of these pictures on Twitter, and there was one where it looked like you were about to hop on the kid's back, and I was hoping so bad in my mind. I was like, I hope he hopped on that kid's back like
don't
right
know.
after the picture.
I can't recall if I did. It might have happened.
You had to have fun with it. Like we were writing all sorts of stupid shit too. So it's like we have to do something different with the pictures. What we're writing. I mean, I did have a lot of bada bings.
He wrote a lot of bada bings.
a few bada zings, and then sometimes you were just talking shit, and then we would just write about what we were talking about, and then say their name, right? Their name
I had a
next to
short
it.
Badow phase.
But anyway,
Dralius drew what he thought was a puppy's paw, which was clearly a bear claw.
Yeah, you had
so
a
then
problem
he
with
wrote
that.
what a
So yeah, you were
I
at
drew
the
a
end.
real
You were at
puppy
the
paw.
end of the signing line. I take it because you
Many times.
Okay.
We moved around a lot.
All right, gotcha.
yeah.
But how about my smiling heart?
He was really proud
Gag.
of this heart thing.
Because if you draw a heart with a smiley face in it, but if you block out the smiley face and hand it to him, it looks like just some boobs.
The eyes look like nipples, and you turn
Oh,
upside
okay, yeah,
down.
that's
And then you no, it's a smiling heart.
No one was impressed with it.
not
I
one
was.
person.
I was.
Yeah, Simon was.
I mean, yeah, but everyone that received one just had a polite grin and they left.
Yeah,
Like,
and they all loved how
oh,
you
this
neatly
gentleman
wrote
ruined
Neebs
this.
down on there.
Man, we should get a shot of my signature if I
Yeah.
can find one.
What else do you want to rip on before we get to the panel?
Soap. Not once did I run across foam soap in Austin. Why do we even
yeah.
have this oily, sticky soap that still exists?
Disgusting.
Foam soap is clearly the new thing.
It is. It really. But you know what? There's a lot of stuff they got to get rid of. You know, because they produce this stuff in bulk.
We've just got stashes of old
Stashes
soap
of
that's
old
gotta get
soap
rid
because
of.
it doesn't go bad.
Now they could send it to third world countries who need soap.
We're really talking about this right now?
Yeah,
This
we
is-
are.
Well, man, that's all I want
It's
to say.
important.
So you're good? We go to the panel?
Soap.
I think. Oh, and our room needed more blankets.
Okay, good.
I had a sheet and
I
a
was
towel.
Soap and blankets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was freezing too.
Panel?
One more blanket in my room would be great.
Go to the panel now. So just like when we got to the scheduled signing, there was a great response from
Felt
the.
so good.
It felt
Walked
so
in the
good
room,
walking
There was an
in there.
applause.
Oh yeah.
Same with the panel. We walk into the panel, it was a roar.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Made our way to the front of the room where we realized we weren't with other animators. This was just our panel.
Yeah.
We didn't know that.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, on that board, it looked like you guys were all going to be together.
Yeah, it's fun. Thank goodness for the community because they knew where we were supposed to be
They
and
told
when.
us what we had to do.
You're looking at the schedule. You guys are here at this time.
Actually, one of the RTX guys, one of the guys from Rooster Teeth, came over at like 12 o'clock the day that we were supposed to go to our.
He didn't know either,
signing.
did he?
No, he came over and said, "You guys are supposed to be somewhere," and we're like, "What?"
yeah, and he was
he's
like
like,
all
"Yeah, on
nervous
the schedule, it's like, yeah," and we're like, "Holy shit!" And
That's
one
not
of
what
the,
our community says.
no, the community says 1:30, so we're good.
And
Anyway,
they
He
were
was
right.
wrong.
Yeah, community
Yeah.
was right.
So the panel, we sit up in front and a nice full room.
We even had Anthony up there with us.
Even Anthony up there sitting closest to the moderator, mind you. Mm-hmm. There's a little sound guy, a little tech guy off on the side, and he asked us a bunch of questions. He wasn't that up to date on what we do
No,
or where
I mean,
we
he
live.
was
I'm
moderating people all day long.
Sure. I know, no, he was
He's
great.
used to dealing with a bunch of different graders.
He was awesome, but
different-
it
No.
made for some good laughs.
It was great because the misinformation is
yeah, it was so funny, and he loved it. Like he apologized to us, and we're like, "Dude,
Yeah.
I'm happy.
added
It
to it.
relaxed
yeah.
me."
First thing he
Yeah.
said,
I'm
like, so
like-
you guys are out of California, right?
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
come, nah.
Close.
Yeah,
About
close.
10 minutes into the questions, Simon realized there was like a 40 by 40 screen next to
It
him.
snuck up on him.
Yeah, because they had misplaced like the.
They said, are we going to watch the new episode of Dorales? And we're like, oh,
We don't
do we have it? And then
fucking know.
Simon's like, where are they going to show that? Oh, on that giant screen in
Yeah.
the room.
That he's sitting next to.
and you didn't fucking see it either.
I know,
you
I was about
asshole.
to just say that.
Okay, good.
But I didn't
You didn't want
have
to.
until you.
Did anybody record this panel?
Oh, yeah.
Ada Hop has you can't really see the whole room or the screen, but you can see the Q&A.
Yeah, I'd like to watch
It's
it.
a good
just to see
panel.
what- just to see
I
what
feel
you
like-
guys did.
You made an appearance
Yeah, I accidentally butt dialed Neebs
during it.
during the panel.
The second after a question was asked that you were best to answer,
Yeah,
is
it
he
was
gets a phone
perfect.
call
So I just
from
answered it,
Absro.
Yeah.
and I put it on speaker, and then we had the microphone. to
Well,
the
once you
phone,
figured
so-
out speaker was the best.
Well, no, you don't just put someone on speaker when they call. You okay it first. I'm gonna put you on speaker. Is that
No,
cool?
we had to tell you to put
No,
speaker
of
on
course I was
after you
gonna
were
go
top.
speaker. You got to say, hey, quit talking about your private
We've
life.
got
I'm
the
gonna put you on
footage.
speaker
The
now.
footage proves that
Yeah.
he started this process talking.
Do you think
without
speaker wasn't in my plan?
Well, when were you going to?
When I say, hey, I'm,
was well
I'm
past
in front
it.
of a panel.
You
Again.
should have done it earlier.
I'm gonna put you. Okay.
Again,
yeah, he's
you're
talking
wrong
about his
here.
social security.
And it's
he likes to go on
recorded.
about his social security number all the
He
time.
wasn't doing it. I could hear everything that he was
What'd
saying.
you say?
He does brag about his social security number.
I said I bragged once this trip, one time.
What? No, we were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh,
What is
What?
Charlie's
No.
talking about right now?
What'd you say? What do I brag about?
No,
No.
I said
social security
I
number.
brag
He was
about my
saying.
social
Oh.
security number.
Oh, I love my last four. I brought it
Oh,
up
yeah,
one
that's true.
time.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
I see where
weird.
you're
I thought you were
did.
talking about-
You
No.
brag about your social all the time.
That is weird.
I don't think I've ever brought that up.
Yeah, you shouldn't bring that up.
Well,
people.
That's what you brought it up at a table in front of other people, and I said they have. It was when we were signing.
they've got 4 of my 9 digits,
yeah,
right?
that's a big old.
that
head
narrows
start.
it down
Yeah,
quite
yeah,
a
I
bit,
know.
sir.
5 left, man.
Everybody go around the table here and give your last four. Let's see who has the coolest last four.
Well,
Go.
it'd be me.
No.
It's
No,
definitely me.
I know,
Don't
that's what I'm
say
saying.
it. God, he wants to say it.
He does.
I know
Of
it's
course I
crazy.
wanna.
No, don't.
I'm
please
not
don't.
going to.
I remember
I'm-
when you
edit
told
it
me, I was
out.
very unimpressed, and I'm like, "Why would you tell me that? That's weird and unimpressive."
You were unimpressed with the smiling heart face. So.
No, I like that.
Oh, yeah, you liked it. Never mind.
When we were at this panel, I kept thinking about Comic-Con in 2010 or 11, whenever we were there. and it was a much smaller room, and it was full, but only because the people wanted to hear the guys after us.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
And
They
I
got
was,
a good seat.
Yeah, and I was sitting there thinking, man, this whole room's here for us.
Yeah.
Look how far we've
Great.
come.
And you got any questions? And then there's one hand, and they ask you,
Are y'all about done?
yeah.
Are the next guys starting soon?
Mm-hmm.
What's it like working with Neebs?
Yeah.
What's Duralis's last part of his social?
So were there good questions at the panel?
They were good. I mean, many that we've answered before, but
The first question was, is Duralis going to get a drawbridge?
Right.
And that was
Oh,
great. Cause
that was before
it was
before the
before
episode.
the screening, yeah.
Because the
Nice.
episode showed about 3/4 through the panel. So.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that was fun to be there for.
And I said, funny you asked that.
Listen, when I first started getting into this stuff, and maybe this was the reason you guys like doing film too, was I wanted to make things and then sit in an audience and hear people.
Respond.
Yeah, that's
respond.
always
In real
fun.
time, yes.
Yeah.
And we kind of don't get that with YouTube. You get the comments, but you don't get to hear a laugh or an audible reaction.
Oh, yeah.
And this just kind of brought all that back. Like
It was great.
Watching it with an audience was awesome.
Yep.
So we're gonna start doing plays now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But yeah, the response was wonderful. A couple laughs would like cover up a little joke here and there just because of, but that's a good problem. And then, of course, the final gag was obviously a win, minus the spikes that should have been on the fish.
Yeah. And you made it live right then, too.
Yeah,
During the panel.
that's why I was texting Thick and texting Abstro, and then like, hey, can someone make this live? We're screening it now. Let's make it live. And then Thick wasn't available, and then Abstro was out visiting his family. They had a family thing, and then he ended up butt dialing me, and it worked out.
It did.
That was that day. That was the RTX part of that day, and then it was on to dinner again with the community, and then this time back to Rainy Street, but a different bar, which was like
Yeah, because the bar that Simon and I went to have tacos and play cornhole on that block was the most dead. So, which it was perfect because the tacos were great, the cornhole was fun, and we had plenty of room for the community, whoever
Nice.
made it
it
there.
was quieter. You could,
Yeah, it was
you
so
could
much
talk.
So
quieter.
yeah, that place
Talk.
sounds more my
It
speed.
seemed like the perfect answer for that night.
Yeah.
And yeah, we went to an industry party first.
Yeah, that was
We met the new director of Red versus Blue. Yeah, Daniel and his little team were there.
Cyanide and Happiness was there.
Yeah, I'd love to meet those guys. I enjoy
Oh,
their
see, I
content.
didn't get to meet
I
them.
didn't meet them either, but yeah, that was cool. But again, that fucking place,
JT Machinima.
Yep.
Who
JT
lives here in our
Machinima, yep,
town. They
yep.
were there as well.
they were there, and it was pretty full. I mean, it was packed, free drinks, but way too loud of music. This is
Crazy
a
loud.
social event.
Yeah, you really want to
and
talk to creators. And get to meet everybody.
We woke up hoarse the next day. You had to scream conversation.
See, that sucks.
It doesn't make any sense.
no.
The venue was awesome though. It was what's
Yeah.
called the Market or something.
Something like
Yeah,
that.
the market.
And it was 3 stories, and there's a bar on each level, and then the top floor is a roof bar.
Yep.
The cool thing about Austin is you look out, there's roof bars everywhere. You look
Everywhere.
across the street, there's some other people over there. And you
that's
look that
awesome.
way, they're just everywhere.
Nobody
Yeah.
cares that it's 120 degrees out.
We stayed there till midnight, and I could have stayed all night because it
Right.
was fun, but we had some more community events planned. So we left there and went to Bar 96.
Yep.
Was that what it's called?
Like 2 or 3 up from the container bar. Mm-hmm.
What about that really, like, there were a couple of those times where we just kind of like ran into, like you ran into a couple of people that weren't even in town for RTX that recognized you.
Friday night, we were walking down the street, and a bouncer at one of the bars stops Anthony because he's wearing a Neves Gaming shirt, and he's like, "Oh, I watched that too." And it's like, "Whoa,
There he is.
here we are. I'm Anthony, and there's Neves." And he's like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
So it was cool that we were running to people that weren't there for that convention, and there was a guy at the Bar 96 who was just there,
Right.
and then saw us.
That's
and,
funny.
And he came over and said hello, and I'm like, "Oh, cool. How's RTX?" He's like, "I'm not at RTX. I'm just at the bar."
I'm just
Right.
drinking.
Like, I'm not here for anything even related to this shit. So
Yeah.
that was kind of fun. But then there was that, like, really
That couple.
beautiful and handsome couple.
He's a
Yeah.
body.
I swear, I got things weird.
were
man.
making-
This one guy was
he's
so,
like squeezing
You're making
them in the air, isn't he?
squeezing hands with your hands.
Yeah, what are you
It's
doing
like
with
he's
that?
touching
Like,
them.
that's his handsome
Are you thinking of
couple
him or her?
Squeezing the air.
Oh,
What the
him.
fuck?
Oh,
him.
okay.
That's why it's okay. Her, no,
They
but
just
him,
happen
I'd
to
be
be
like,
done.
he looked like a freaking model.
Oh, well, he's
Jeez.
a like a personal trainer, and he's got a clothing line, and she's trying out for the FBI in a couple weeks.
yeah, they were just like a really beautiful looking couple.
Yeah,
and
they
I'm
were gonna
grabbing
send
this
us
guy's
some-
chest.
They're gonna send us some shirts.
But that was a very like, hey, we were happened to be in town, and I don't even know where they saw it, but it was like a post they saw an hour earlier, like, hey, we're going to be at this bar, and they just showed up.
That's awesome.
Like we were starting to get pushed out of the bar come 2:00, but then we just stayed right in front of the bar, like by the street, till at least 3, just all yapping away. Simon eating a sandwich.
I saw that online. Was that the time somebody was recording you?
Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah.
So there's leaked footage of Simon eating
It
a
is
sandwich.
There
exists.
That
Actual
there is.
footage.
Yeah. There was
He's drunk.
Oh,
He's
wow,
so
listen.
drunk.
I listened to it today. I didn't sound too bad. I don't think. But
No.
there was a pizza truck. And I'm like, oh, fucking pizza. I don't care how bad it is. I want pizza. But the line was long. And right next to the pizza truck, like 40 feet away, was this lone little cart with street meat and nobody online. And I'm like, that's where I'm going. And I had a brat. And drunk, it was an 8, apparently. I rated it.
So then that was that night, wasn't it?
That was that night.
Back at the booth again. Lots of great people with interesting stories. I remember one guy who had a story which was really good the first time I heard it, but then I got the facts right and it was just okay.
Oh God, it was better.
Oh,
and then
Jesus.
Well,
you
not
made
as good
it.
as what I thought it
Hold on,
was.
back up. Is this day 3?
No, it's actually not day 3.
Was it
You're
another
getting
day?
your day. It was
So,
because
check-
after the screening, you know what we did after the screening? We think we're done for the day.
Uh-huh.
Let's go to another room and sign more stuff.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
And that's where it was.
So
he
this
had.
kid, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, because we're the ones who heard the story.
Yeah. Well,
clearly.
I was talking to someone else and I overheard it and I came into it late.
He had a parrot tattoo on his forearm,
Okay.
on his arm somewhere, right? So I was asking, I wanted to look at that ink, and he told me the story. He's like, he had open heart surgery when he was like 5 or something, and they brought him like a stuffed parrot that they put in his room, and it's just like, he, obviously everything worked out with the surgery and stuff, and he's had that stuffed parrot ever since, and it meant so much to him. He got this tattoo of a parrot
It's actually holding a heart if you looked at
holding
it.
a
in
heart. It's
Okay.
holding a heart in its
feet.
claws.
So I walk in about this time and I'm like, wow. I'm like, birds, bond to people. Is he really bonded to you? Like imprinted on you? And they're like, it's a stuffed parrot. And I'm like, what? I thought it was a real parrot. Like, this is going to be a parrot and they're going to live their whole life together.
So then he shit on it
And
pretty
then
much.
and then he said that's not a good story.
I didn't say that. I
You
said it was
did.
a better story when the parrot was real.
You said
But
it
it
was
wasn't
not a good
real.
story. That was the
Would
shocker.
it not be a better story if the
Of
parrot
course.
was
The
real?
best part of the story is that he fucking lived, Neebs.
That's the great
Right.
part. But I'm just saying, if we're going to make a movie out of
Man,
it, the
that
parrot's
is
got to be real.
Really backhanded, Neebs.
I don't know. I like the stuffed parrot. Like he starts talking to it, gets a little crazy.
That might have happened
Yeah.
I
too.
think that'd be a more enjoyable film.
Who do you want me to kill, buddy?
And you know how you said you walked in? You were there the whole fucking time.
No,
You just weren't paying attention.
I was just talking to somebody else, and
All right.
then I shifted over.
That's
You
it.
were asking someone. So Al with A-L?
How do you spell Al?
Could be the Y in there. Who knows? AYL. Why not?
True.
Could that be ale?
So was that was we had that last day, and then it was like we got to get out of here.
This is Sunday, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. we took a big group picture of everyone who happened to be there that was there.
Well, they were
for-
like waiting to send us off.
yeah, no, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's like kind of the first time we just stopped and took a breath. Like, man, this whole weekend was just a
As soon
whirlwind.
as I sat in that Uber, like I was ready to fucking pass out.
Yeah, you just kind of crashed.
But for the best reasons.
Then we get to the airport, and it's funny because Dralius has pre-check screening.
Oh my God.
He's gone through this process. So,
Paid
so
$80.
he's- Yeah, so he's cleared to go through. So I don't know if it's because we booked our tickets together or what,
Still doesn't make sense.
but we get to security, and he's gonna go over there and snootily go through pre-screening while we go with all the rest of the herd.
plebs.
Which obviously, by the way, the pre-screen has got a bigger line.
This one did.
No,
No,
It was slightly.
did.
there were hundreds of people in our line, and maybe
But-
20 people in their line.
Are you going to tell the truth in this story, or
What
are you just
talking
remembering
about?
it really
Our
wrong?
line was a zigzag. Theirs was a straight one.
Yeah, but you were like right
No,
up to the guys
Yeah,
that
we
looked
were
at you.
right up to the front. The zigzag went forever. We walked in and out, but nobody was there.
because
the
they
line
got
was
4
shorter.
people in the regular
Well,
screening
let-
and one
let
guy
me
over
put it
the
this way.
pre-screen.
From my perspective, at the end of the TSA line, so we don't fucking harp on this shit, I was a little concerned that you guys were going to beat me through that line, just on the size of mine.
Yeah, I would have
Yeah.
been mad.
It was one of those, and like,
Yeah.
whatever. But what happened, Neebs?
So we get to one of the 4 or 5 guys screening the regular people, and they go, "Oh, you're supposed to be in pre-screening." And since we were already up to that, they just sent us
to the beginning of my line.
to the in front of him, like
Yeah.
way in front of Doralius.
Yeah,
And we look back and wave at him, and he's got this look on his face like,
What the fuck?
yeah, he was still 10 back.
So
Now everybody's going
like,
through.
It's like they're
pre-screening? How's that
pre-screened
happen?
No,
by
just the people in our group.
association.
Yeah.
But I can't vouch for you.
Yeah, that doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
you hardly know him.
It seems like a loophole.
There's a security flaw here.
And that's the thing is that started the trip too. It was also on the flight there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had it on their tickets on
And
the flight
he actually went through. We got thrown to the pre-check side. There was a longer line there as well. He went to the regular check, right?
there. Yeah, because I was trying to get through. Yeah, it
Because
seemed like
he-
the quicker option.
Exactly. Fix it, Dice. Dice can fix it, right?
I don't know.
Probably.
I don't think
Maybe.
we could. No. Great weekend.
Yeah.
You know, next year, if we all go, what I would like to do, because I know it was like a very quick trip. You guys got there, you hit the ground running, and then, you know, a few days later, you got on the plane.
Felt like
left.
a week.
I would like to spend an additional couple days in Austin
Yeah.
because I heard it's an amazing place.
It'd be nice to fly if the event starts Friday and Sunday. It'd be nice to fly down Thursday, leave Monday.
Yes.
That'd be perfect.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think most of us really wanted to get down to the bridge and see the bats fly off at dawn.
I'd want to be up close to it to face a fear because
Yeah.
I do not
There's
not
no
like
fear.
bats.
And I think they're
They don't hurt
adorable.
people?
Yeah, it's weird.
Have
how
you ever had
people-
interaction with it? Or
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
that's the thing.
That's the thing. Okay.
Yeah, I told this story before. It's not
Okay.
worth telling again, but yeah, I would like
He
to
hates
face
flying foxes, and they're like the cutest thing ever.
Ah, they're like flying Doberman pinchers.
Oh, they're
Their
adorable.
pictures are cute.
They are, but when they have wings, they're not.
All right, guys. Well, that's the story of our RTX experience. We hope to be back next year.
Yeah.
And thank you to every single person that was there if you happen to be listening.
And I think one thing we can take away from this is it's definitely always just BEN.
Ding-a-dang-dang. Ding-a-dang-dang.